So again, I just want to welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. Having been involved with snow removal on campus for close to 30 years, I'm really excited about this. This is the largest turnout we've ever had for the morning session on winter injury prevention. Thank you all for being here. There are a number of people that have been working on a committee to organize this session. We've done a fair amount of work to try to make this a good session for you. We have some new PowerPoint slides. We have a little humor we're going to interject here and there. And I look forward to having you all get ready, ramped up for snow removal season. I'd like to take a minute and introduce Dave Danielson. He's our Assistant Vice Chancellor for Facilities. Is that the title these days? Okay. And Dave has a few words for us, and then we'll get into our content. Again, I want to thank you all for being here this morning.
Well, good morning. Can I get a show of hands? How many of you are from facilities management? Okay. How many of you are from housing? All spread out. Parking services? A couple. Rec center? All right. And UMC? Did I miss anybody? Athletics. I'm sorry, I missed athletics. Is anyone from athletics here? Well, come on. You fussed at me. So again, my name is David Danielson, and I'm the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Facilities Management. But I want you all to know that you guys are the folks with the feet on the ground that are out doing all the work. I mean, I sit in an office. I don't do a lot of work. You guys are the ones that are out there doing the work. And I think it's very important that all of you. Ooh. I'm gonna bring you up here. I think it's really important that everybody do their job well and do their job safe. And I think that a program like this is so important. This is the sixth university I've worked at, and 4 of them have been in the north, and we've never had a program like this. And I think this is very, very, very important. Chad from Risk Management is going to get up and talk a little bit about data. The data that we have on injuries over the past years, and I think there's a direct correlation to this program and the number of injuries, or the lack of injuries, the less injuries. So again, I think it's very important that you're all here. Again, I want you all to be safe, and I also want you to know that I have one of these in my office with my name on it, and I go out and shovel. I get in a golf cart with Don Inglis. We ride around. We find handicap ramps or things that sometimes the snow plow will push snow in there. The sidewalk's been shoveled, but the ramp hasn't. And I'll personally get out and help shovel. I'm not afraid to get out and shovel. And again, I need to learn how to shovel because I've got a bad back, and I'm getting old. But anyway, so I'm just glad that you're here, and I hope you enjoy the program.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, Chris is going to start us off with a video.
Short, real short. No, they wouldn't let me show those. the mics.
Will this click over here? If I use the clicker, can I stand over here? Yeah, let me test it. So if I do something like, it'd be good to stand centrally. Yeah, here. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, nice. Okay. Stand right here. Thank you. My name is Rob Rapier, and it's nice to be here this morning. Let me know if you cannot hear anything. Speak up a little bit. How about that? Is that better? Okay. My name is Rob Rapier. I'm a physical therapist. I work at Alpha Rehabilitation, which is the group up in the right corner there. It's a physical therapy group. And then if you get injured on the job, you'll come see our occupational medicine doctors, and that's the logo up on the left. We're all in the same building. Hopefully you won't need us, and hopefully you'll do fine and you'll stay injury-free. But if you do, we're there to help you. I am a CU grad. I spent 5 years on this campus, so I always feel comfortable talking from you guys. You're like family to me, and I have a lot of empathy. I've taken care of a lot of you. I recognize some faces out there. So hopefully, with us helping you out today, we can give you some techniques and some tools to stay injury-free. The title of my talk is Injury Prevention at Work, pretty basic. Let me know if you can't see, too. Am I in the way? Oh, there's plenty of screens. There you go. So what are the two main tools to prevent injuries? Two main things I'm going to talk about today are self-care. Now, self-care incorporates a lot of things, such as using ice and heat, but it also incorporates using biomechanics and being safe while you're working. You guys can still hear me okay? Good. Nope? Yep? Okay. And then specific exercises. We're going to do some warm-up exercises. We're going to do some strength exercises, a little prevention for you guys to help you out in your job. This is an example right here. Let's see, does this click? I think I can just, oh yeah, there we go. I love how, this is my colleague Carla. She's lifting appropriate, and look how nice and flat her back is, and she's got this nice 90 degrees, and that's a 25-pound box. This would be an example of self-care, is making sure that you're lifting appropriately. I've got a lot of slides I'm going to show you of proper lifting in different situations. How do injuries impact personal life? Well, I see it every day in the clinic. Results in lost wages, reduces quality of life, lowers self-esteem. A lot of people's identity comes from their work. I know I'm like that, so if I can't work, I definitely feel lower self-esteem. I could potentially feel depressed. So you really don't want to get an injury if at all possible. There's so many things. The good news is there's so many things you can do to help yourself. I'm not sure where I got this quote from, but I love it. I think I got it in school sometime. If you have a reason to get up in the morning, you usually will. And that, to me, just goes back to the fact that you're working and you have an identity and you want to get up every day and go to work. This is called Vortex, by the way, this transitional thing on PowerPoint. I love it. What is self-care? Let's define self-care. Simply refers to those activities, whether mental, physical, or spiritual in nature, that help maintain a state of health and well-being. Something as simple as improving your diet, quitting smoking, exercising regularly, maintaining a positive mental attitude towards work, friends, and family. The one that I would like to highlight is this one, surprisingly, and the reason why, it's not just for your health. People who smoke heal slower. So we see that a lot with injuries, and not only that, people who smoke, their pain levels are higher. So when I deal all with the different types of injuries, when I get smokers, their pain levels are usually higher. And if for some reason you have to go and do surgery, people who smoke heal a lot slower. So I kind of point that out just because we're always dealing with that, and that would be a really good self-care thing you can do to help yourself out. How can I do self-care at work? Lots of things you can do. Take mental health breaks. If you got a 10-minute break, get away from your work area for just a little bit, and maybe go to another area that you don't normally stay, and get away from that. Wear proper clothes. Even if it's just for 5 minutes, you're going to go outside. Go ahead and put your coat on. You don't want to deal with hypothermia. Footwear, wear good boots, but if you don't have those, Yak Tracks. You guys ever seen Yak Tracks before? They're awesome. They go on the bottom of your feet. We have them in the clinic in case you need them. Yes. There's different kinds, yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of, and it's basically you just clamp it onto the bottom. Oh, sure, absolutely. She was talking about, there's another type. What was that type again? Mini spikes, Yak Tracks. Yeah, they're not that expensive, but you have to make sure you remember to take them off when you come back inside, because then it's just the opposite occurs. So, yeah. If you go in the grocery store and you don't take them off. So just let Yak Tracks, they go on the bottom of your shoes. Just little things like that. You just, even if you're only going to be out there for 5 minutes, you should go ahead and do that. Put on your coat, Yak Tracks, or just make sure you got a good pair of boots. But we love them. We use them all the time. Okay, what else? You guys are working outside a lot. Eat healthy snacks and hydrate, especially in the summertime. You should be drinking hourly for sure. Use modalities. Things such as ice or heat on sore areas. Boy, we take that for granted, but just if you're sore, when you come home at the end of the day, use some ice. We say that for the first 24 to 48 hours after an injury. And then you can start using heat and ice. I like to use heat first, get the blood flowing, and then cool the tissues down at the very end. We're going to do a daily warm-up. In just about 5 minutes, I'm going to make all you guys stand up, and we're going to do a warm-up, okay? Do daily warm-up before starting work, even for just 1 minute, makes a huge difference. Maintain awareness and focus while working. This one's got to be important because we see a lot of falls. And it's just like that commercial says, just don't fall. That nothing good comes of that. And I certainly see a lot of injuries from falls over the 10 years I've been over there, and you just don't want to fall. So watch your footing, construction areas, but really areas that are prone to slipping, and that are very icy. Use proper lifting techniques, and we're going to go through some slides and go through some proper lifting for you guys. Okay, how can I prevent falls and injuries? Here's really going to be our 5 core things that we're going to do. Warm up before starting hard work task. Okay, we're going to do that in just a second. Use a wide base of support when lifting. Keep weight close to body. Square up to all work being done. And what I mean by that is face up, and I'll show you guys a slide of what I mean by that. Actively use your legs. Boy, if there's one thing that I see just gets neglected, it's people do not use their legs enough. They're so static when they're working. You've got to be using your legs all the time. So let's just see the warm-up. So here's the principles of the warm-up. Helps transition from inactive to active by preparing the body. Loosens the joints and gets the blood pumping. Even just 1 minute makes a huge difference. And we'll do the warm-up in just a second. And it's that handout you guys got with all the exercises. Okay, here's me. Wide base of support from the side. Okay, and notice my back is pretty flat, and I get this nice 90-degree angle. Now, people who are a little shorter, get as wide as you possibly can. It really should be as wide as the object you're lifting, okay? Let's look at it from the back. Okay, I know. You got to stick out that derriere, man. You got to get the butt out. People do not do that. I'm not sure why they don't do that, but look out. See, I'm pretty much clearing the box, and you've got at least to get the distance of the object you're lifting. This was pretty easy because this was a smaller box, but go a little lower than you think and go a little wider. So keep object close to upper body. I see people carrying things way out here like that. Why would you do that? I I mean, let it rest on your body. Keep it close to your body. It weighs a lot less if it's close to your body. So I'm really just got it resting right on my body there. Face the object and square up. That's what I mean by squaring up. I see a lot of twisting. People basically just get right to whatever you're doing. Here I'm basically doing a recycle bin. Just face it up, square up. No twisting at all. Squat and use your legs. It looks funny for people who don't do that. I mean, when I demonstrate this in the clinic, people are like, really? I mean, it's kind of like the warrior pose. I think it looks like that to me. But I got a wide base of support. I'm bending my legs. I'm just getting a good lever here, and you just get lower than you think you have to. In that video, it seemed like that person was all like this. And so you got to get lower. If your back is sore at the end of the day, there's probably a reason why. I'd rather your legs be sore, your quad muscles. Okay, this is one thing I did mention earlier, but what I have seen is a lot of people stepping out of vehicles. We've had a few of them, and hurting themselves and slipping on the ice. So I recommend a 3-point contact. When you're exiting a work vehicle, notice I have one hand right here, the other hand right here. At some point when you're stepping out, there's going to be one leg that's not going to be in contact with the ground. That leg is up. So by holding on, you're going to give yourself a chance if you're coming out of a vehicle on a hill, but particularly what we've seen is slipping and falling when you're stepping out of a vehicle onto ice. And it has happened a lot with some of our...
Rob, I just add, I think Chad would verify this. This is one of the most common injuries we have on campus for the last couple of years, is people coming in first thing in the morning and getting out of a vehicle and going down. Chad, if I'm remembering right, that's maybe 20% of the claims that have come through? He's nodding. So this, if you take one thing away, being careful when you get out of your vehicle in the morning is a very important thing.
And I've seen those people, so I know. And we talk about this a lot, but I just wanted to include that. Something simple you can do. Just be mindful when you're getting out of your vehicle. Okay, we're going to do a little warm-up. So what we'll do here, I need you guys to stand up, okay? All right. So that sheet I gave you, we're going to go through 4 exercises. And this is what you would do before you go out and you actually do some snow shovel. Even 1 minute of standing up. So you got to give yourself a little room. And what we're going to do is we're going to do squats first, okay? So this is what I like to do. I'm basically going to have my hand out to the side, out to the front, and I'm going to do some squats. And we're going to do it 10 times. So 1, 2, 3. Everybody's got to do this now. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You already feel better already, huh? Okay. All right, next one, we're going to do some rows. The rows look like this. You can pull back or kind of to the side like this. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Look at your sheet. 5, 6, 7. I don't see some people doing it. 8, 9, 10. Good. That's the rows. Warms up your shoulders really nicely. The next one is calf raises. Pretty easy. 10 of them. 1, 2, 3. Nice. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, one more. Arm circles. This is like from the gym, high school gym or something like that. Just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't hit your partner. Now reverse it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Thank you so much. Okay, one last thing we're going to do here. This is going to be fun. You guys can sit down now. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is some strength exercises, okay? And this is going to give somebody an opportunity to win something. Everybody loves free stuff. So anybody who's going to come up here and exercise with me for just 5 minutes, we're going to do 4 exercises. Whoever gets up here gets a free ball and a therapy band. Woo, we got a taker here. Okay, you can put this back in your chair, and then we'll. What is your name?
Manual?
Manuel. Okay, there you go.
Oh, I don't have to do the exercise?
Oh yeah, you do have to do the exercise. You can go just put it on your chair right now. Yeah, there you go. Oh, beat you. All right, if you refer back to your sheet, you'll see at the top strength exercises. Now the warm-ups, that can be done every day, especially before your work. The strength exercises, that's something we would just do like 2 or 3 times a week in your own time. And I recommend like a therapy ball would be awesome, but you could do a lot of these exercises without a therapy ball. If you guys need to stand up over there, we're going to be doing the exercise right over here. I need a wall, so if you need to stand up, feel free to look. Okay, Manuel. The first one is going to be the ball squats. I'll demonstrate. I'll let you hold this. What's that?
I was your patient.
Oh, I didn't want to tell you that, man. But that's your, you know, but yeah. Okay, here we go. Ball squats. So you get a wide base of support. Go down. Just like that. Works the quad muscles really well. You can hold weights if you want to as well. Okay, I'll let you try, Manuel. This wall's nice and firm. It's pretty good. It won't fall. There you go, just about 90 degrees. And make sure the thing people do wrong here is they just don't get far enough out front. You want to make sure that those kneecaps are behind the toe. Nice, and you should feel it in your quad muscle, huh? Yeah, right on. Okay, good job. Okay, let's go to the second one, huh? There you go. So the second one looks like this. What you can do is tie this onto a door. Let's come over here so everybody can see us. Okay, you just have to pretend like this is a door. It's in the door jamb. So a row looks like this. Not like this. Back, squeeze the shoulder blades. And that is really good for your shoulder blades. There you go. I'll let you try. Just like squeeze the shoulders back. Yeah, keeping the shoulders low. Maybe a little closer to your body. There you go, exactly. Squeezing those shoulder blades. Yeah. 2 or 3 times a week. I'd do like 3 sets of 10. Something. There you go. Okay, good job, man. Okay. Let's go to the third one. Next one. It's good for the core. When I say core, I'm talking about the deeper abdominal muscles. So it looks like this. If you guys need to stand up, feel free. You sit on the ball, good posture. And then what you're going to do, I tell people to start out, just kind of flatten the tummy a little bit, belly button to spine, and basically just pick a leg, lift it, hold, and then release and relax. Lift, hold, and release. As you start getting better, you can use your arms and your legs. It looks really easy, but when people get on it, it's like surprisingly difficult. If you need to hang on to the ball, Manuel, if you need to hang on the ball, feel free. Let's just do the leg part. And if you feel really good. So basically, you're kind of flattening in your tummy, lift, and then exhale and remember to breathe.
Sideways?
Yeah, just like that, so people can see you. Okay? No, you've done it before, huh? Yeah, and just go slow. So basically, think about belly button to spine, just kind of flatten out the tummy a little bit, lift, hold it for a second. Yeah, 1 or 2. And then release. Hold, release, and breathe. Remember to breathe. Yep, there you go. And you sit up with really good posture. There you go. Lift, hold, release, and breathe. Lift, hold, and then release. Now you can see how hard this would be if you add your arm and your leg component to it. Just works the core that much more. All right, good job. I've got one last one. This might be hard to see, but it's the bridges. It's one of my favorite. So it looks like this. I'll let you hold the microphone. Awesome. So you're on the floor. The key to this is you got to keep the ball fairly steady. You lift up. I might put my hands on my stomach just so I can feel my abs flatten out. Hold it for 2 or 3 seconds, and then release and breathe. We'll let you try, Manuel. You have one at home, right, don't you? Yep. Okay, so what you want to do is you put your hands on your stomach if you want, because that gives you a little feedback. So you lift up, lift your body. There you go. Keep the ball steady. Hold, and then release. And when you release, you're breathing. So your whole goal here is to flatten out your abs. You're working on the abdominals, the deeper abdominals. You are. You're lifting your hips. You're lifting your buttocks off the floor. I tell people, like, pretend like you're on something really hot, and you just got to get away from it. So you're lifting, you're holding or flattening out. What I mean by that is belly button to spine. Hold, and then release, and make sure you're breathing on the exhale on the down part. Very good. Thanks, Manuel. You got a free ball and a band. Any questions? You got any questions? I don't know if we're going to take questions at the end or anything like that. But no questions. All right. Was that helpful? Do the warm-up exercises, even for just 1 minute before you go out and shovel snow. Really important. I mean, I felt better just after that 1 minute. So,
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate the information. And Chris will bring up our next presenter. I forget who's up next. Or wait, do we have? Chad Medina from Risk Management. Chad helps in a couple of aspects with snow removal. He's a member of the Campus Snow Removal Committee. And we are, on a monthly basis during the winter, looking at what's happening with injuries and incidents that occur on campus so we can identify trends and try to improve how we're doing on campus. Chad, welcome.
Thanks, Alan. Hi, everybody. I'm Chad Medina. I'm with Risk Management here at the university. So a little bit about what our office does. We handle the insurance for the university. That's one of our main tasks. So, that includes workers' compensation, auto, property, and liability claims. And so not only do we handle the insurance, but we also handle all the claims that come into our office. So we like to analyze the data and kind of look for trends, look at, frequency and severity of claims. And, what we've noticed is that slip and falls tend to be some of the worst claims that come through our office. There's some of the highest dollar claims. A lot of times I think, when you slip and you fall, you injure more than one part of your body. And it can be traumatic injuries, and so these tend to be, some of the worst claims we see. Looking at our numbers here, so as Dave Danielson said earlier, we've noticed actually sidewalks and stair claims have gone down quite a bit, and I think that's thanks to all you guys. You're doing a great job out there. They've really decreased. So total claims this past year, we had 29 slip and fall claims. Of those, 11 were on the sidewalk, 15 in the parking lot, and 3 on the stairs. So we're seeing the sidewalks and stairs claims really decline, and that's great. That's great because we see so much traffic on campus. not only employees, students, but a lot of visitors who are here. And so, you know, we would like to avoid those. Of those 29 claims last year, 11 of those were facilities management employees, 3 in housing, and 3 from the UMC. So, you know, a lot of these claims happen in high traffic areas. So around the stadium, around UMC, there's just so much traffic. So those tend to be the higher areas. And the parking lot claims, like Rob and Alan had mentioned, you know, it's getting out of your vehicle first thing in the morning. I don't think a lot of people are aware, you know, maybe you're just not thinking about it. Or, it may look like it was plowed, but it still can be slick. So it's just something to be aware of in the mornings, in the afternoons, you know, whenever we get this freeze melt and then freeze cycle again. Things can look dry, but be cautious, be aware, you know, first thing in the morning. And also, when you're, like they said, entering and exiting vehicles, but also buildings. You know, the change of surface when you're outside and your shoes are wet. You know, I know a lot of you guys have the non-slip soles, but you know, just be aware when you're going into and out of buildings, that change of surface can be hazardous as well. So, you know, of those 29 claims that we had last year, 6 of them were over $25,000. So they get expensive, and you know, it hurts you and it hurts the university, and it's you know, kind of a lose-lose for everybody. Something else to be aware of is so on campus here, we you know, the university is a public entity, and so we're afforded some rights that other groups aren't, and one of those is governmental immunity. Which it's a long, complicated law, but basically we're immune from certain claims, and that can kind of go away when there's dangerous conditions, which can be snow and ice on sidewalks when it's leading to public buildings. So we, you know, if that's the case, we kind of lose that immunity, and the claims can, you know, skyrocket if somebody is really injured. So just something to be aware of. You know, like Rob was saying, and Alan and Dave, that slip and falls, you know, they're mainly in high traffic areas. You know, just be aware when you're getting out of vehicles. Boulder campus, across all CU campuses, so Boulder, we've got Denver and Anschutz and Colorado Springs. Boulder claims for slip and falls account for 50% of all the claims. And like Rob was saying, you know, some of these tips, just warm up, just be aware, you know, get your body ready. When you're out shoveling, you know, it's a lot of work. And, you know, so warm up, do some stretches. No lazy loads, keep your back straight, try to balance the weight, you know, and try to not to lift and twist. And, you know, give yourself a break every now and again. And if you do get injured, you know, hopefully this doesn't happen, but if you do, just be aware you have your choice of where to go, and we've got some great medical providers, and they were nice enough to come here today and to present some good information. But just be aware it's your choice on where to go. So stay safe out there.
Thank you, Chad. One point that Chad mentioned I'd like to just follow up on. Having been involved with campus snow removal in the late 90s, we were averaging 60 to 70 claims a year. So the fact that we're down to such a relatively low number, I think, is a tribute to everybody here who's been doing hard work, and it's appreciated, and it is paying off. Our next presenter is Maria Silva from Facilities Management Human Resources, and she's just going to talk briefly about the Facilities Management Return to Work program. I realize it might be a little different for some of the other folks.
Thanks, Alan. So welcome everybody, and we were blessed with a nice day outside, so I think that's awesome. This all came in perfect timing just to get you guys all warmed up and ready to go out there and tackle that snow. As Ellen said, I wanted to touch briefly on facilities management's return to work program. It may be different for housing folks, rec center, UMC folks, and all others who are present here today. But just to briefly cover what the return to work program is for our department, and I imagine it's pretty similar with all the other groups. We will try to get you back to work in the event that you are injured as soon as possible. Depending on your limitations and your restrictions, if you are in an unfortunate situation where you do suffer an on-the-job injury, you want to be working closely with your HR representative to ensure that you are getting back to work and that all your restrictions and limitations are being followed. And again, for facilities management, we've got Penny Hamill here. Want to stand up, Penny? For those of you who are in facilities management, Penny handles all the work comp in facilities management and return to work program. It is different for other areas, so just keep in mind who your HR representative is in your work area. Should you have any concerns, always work with them and make sure that you are in touch also as well with your authorized medical providers. Chad mentioned and showed you that slide. That's pretty much it. Just let you guys know, be safe out there, warm up, take frequent breaks, and be mindful of your body. Because if you're injured at work, it doesn't just affect your work, it affects your life, right? So just be mindful of that. And without anything else, give back to Alan.
Thank you, Maria. Chris, we have some quickies? Good. Oh, great. Take it away from him.
Big J's back.
Cooling and soothing Hall's air. What are you breathing?
Okay. One more and then we'll move on.
Tak, przed siebie.
Oh, howdy, you're a quit.
Co to kurwa jest? Co za debil, ja pierdolę. Jebany walcze. Kurwa.
Yeah, at least he's determined, right?
All right, what do we have next here? Next, we have the fine folks from Concentra.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Buenos días. Okay, gusto en verte. Good to see everybody here today. My name is Chris Trout. I'm a physical therapist with Concentra, and this is so cool. How fun is this that CU Boulder cares enough about you and your health to pay you to come to one of these things, right? Pretty fun. It's a nice benefit. And we were here last year. We recognized some faces from last year. You might recognize us. Thank you for inviting us back in. What a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to work with Rob and the folks from Arbor. And can really tell that the team here, Maria and the team, is investing in making this better every year. First of all, we've got funny videos, right? All right, thanks, Chris, for putting those together. And can you figure out how to get that on there? So, already had lots of great material already, and obviously, CU Boulder is doing a great job in reducing injury. So, gone from 60 or so in the late 90s to about 29 last year, which is great. Hey, Chad. Nice. This is Patrick.
Morning, everybody. Thanks for coming in today. Good to see you.
So, Chad, quick question. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Anybody in the back starting to get sleepy yet?
That's the one thing about this room is the chairs. The chairs are not as good to sleep in this room. So we had some of that last year, but got a lot of bright faces this year. I'd give the chairs and Rob credit, keeping it lively. So, hey, Chad, were those 29 injuries, is that just CU staff? It is, yeah. Just CU staff, okay. So, and how many staff members total? Do we have an idea? A couple thousand?
It's got to be thousands, right?
3,000 people, so 29 injuries.
Awesome.
Is that cool or what?
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's really sweet. And the most of those happen here in Boulder. Does anybody have an idea of why most of 50% of CU injuries would happen on this campus? It has to do with the stuff that falls from the skies. Snow.
Leaves?
That's a good guess, though.
Rain.
That's a good guess. So it's the snow. So the Boulder campus actually gets more snow than the other campuses. So no surprise there. We're closer to the mountains, more elevation, right? So
I think, Rob, I just want to thank you for putting together a terrific presentation on self-care, biomechanics. I mean, all that stuff we agree with totally 100%. So Chris and I are both physical therapists. If you've seen a doctor or a therapist or any other healthcare professional, they're pretty much going to tell you the same things. Our talk manager wants me to stand a little closer to this side, so because there's a camera here. Hey, everybody watching online, what's up? Chris, you were right in the middle there the whole time. So Rob, just great job. Really want to thank you for that. We're talking about snow removal, and we live in Boulder. I came from New Mexico to Colorado, and I got to tell you, I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of snow we get to play with every year. I've only been living here for a couple of years. One of the things that I've noticed about you folks in this room who manage snow removal, you do it the old school way, with shovels and picks and your back, not this new school way with what are those snowblower things, plows, whatever. You guys are real people, man. Really make it happen. Well, so why is that? I'm sure you have snow removal equipment. I know you do, right? Tools, mechanical devices to remove snow. But at the end of the day, it's the finish work that you do with the shovel and your body that makes a difference in the environment that your students and your coworkers and your visitors are safer in, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We're not going to be snowblower. We're not talking about any sissy shovels. We're talking about the real snow movement technique. So Chris and I are going to try to focus a little bit more on the mechanics of handling the shovel and the various tools that you're going to be using to remove snow, okay?
And also, we want to give you some tips on how to take care of the best snow removal machine that we all have access to, our bodies, and certainly more expensive to repair. So one of these shovels breaks, they go probably at the high end, maybe $80, something like that. $25,000 for an on-the-job injury, plus the stuff that comes out of our pockets when we are missing work. So obviously more expensive when this machine breaks. So Rob gave us a lot of great material already. One thing we want to talk about in the next few minutes is repetitive overuse injuries. Repetitive overuse injuries. So how does this happen? It's very curious. How many of you follow the NBA? Pro sports basketball?
Nobody watches it.
Nobody watches the NBA?
Nobody.
Okay. Does anyone
Chris
remember?
one guy in the back was like, well, I will. Hockey. Okay.
Even less. So does anybody remember Yao Min? He was like a 7'3" guy from China, and How many of you know Yao Min is not playing pro basketball anymore? And the reason he's not playing pro basketball is because Yao Min kept getting stress fractures in one of the bones in one of his feet. He kept getting stress fractures in one of the bones in one of his feet, which is a little curious, right? Why did he not have stress fractures in the other foot? It's playing just as many games as him. It's running up and down the court just as many times as the other foot. How did that happen? Well, the answer is, let me give a little demonstration how this happened. So, everybody, if you could just fold your hands like so. Fold your hands. So, what you notice is that your body just did it without thinking about it. Your body did that in the most comfortable, most predictable way that your brain knows how. Now, do this little thing. Put your switch your fingers so the other fingers are on top. Just do this. It feels a little different.
Does that feel weird? Does it feel a little weird?
A little different and a little awkward. How about this? Everybody, clap your hands 3 times when I say clap, and then please, if you would do that, but keep your hands closed on the third clap. So you're going to clap your hands 3 times, and on the third clap, keep your hands closed and fold together. Okay? 1, 2, 3, clap. Okay, now you have your hands together, like so. This gentleman here is doing it perfectly. So if you notice, one hand is on top and one thumb is on top. Now, clap your hands 3 times with the other, but on the third time this time, put the other hand on top. 1, 2, 3, go. So it feels a little weird and a little different with the other thumb on top. And the reason is, that's basically why repetitive overuse injuries happens, is our bodies are wired a certain way. When we see a task in front of us, we typically try to achieve it with the same muscles in the same way every time. So if there's one thing that we can add to some of the great things that Rob said, is that we want to teach you in the next few minutes to think about, how can I do this differently? How can I shovel snow differently than the way I'm already doing it? Maybe change a couple things as you're continuing to work.
A standard habitual move when we're moving snow is to work with slightly straighter knees. And Rob talked about bending the knees a little bit. Oh, by the way, you want to know why I didn't become a surgeon? Watch the laser pointer. You don't want me with a knife anywhere near you. So with straighter knees, not so healthy, right? But bending the knees just a little. Most of us, when we reach down to work a load, we just habitually bend at the waist. And if you'll heighten your awareness to it, just pay attention to it a little bit, watch your coworkers. They pick up a piece of paper or a pencil, or they tie their shoes. Straight knees, bend forward. I am also guilty of this sometimes, even though I'm a therapist, I'm in the clinic training people. Okay, make sure you bend your knees, pick up the load. Just like Rob said, I go to tie my shoes, straight legs, straight over, right? So it's just a habit. What we're asking is pay attention to the habits that you normally have, especially with snow removal, because we're talking about that tonight, or today. It's beautiful outside. It's going to be 70 degrees today, and it'll probably snow tomorrow, this being Boulder and all, right? The weather's totally unpredictable. But if you're ready for it, thinking about it just a little bit, you can save yourself some trouble. So Rob talked about this with lifting a load. It's the same exact thing with moving a shovel. So for the guys on that side of the room, I'm staying over here only because this is where the camera is, and I'm a camera hound. No, they wanted me to stay here. So I'll try to get a laser shot over there. Didn't work. Okay. I tried. Yep. So in the center screen here, bent knees with the shovel. Chris, if you want to grab a shovel and demonstrate. Once you get a load in the shovel, if your feet are wide apart, you can straighten your knees and your hips together and move the snow to the side, right? So the idea is, don't shovel it straight forward because you have to shovel it again. And also, Chris is going to demonstrate just a little bit of a side move with a step, yeah? Yeah, just a little step through.
That was nice, huh? I've been practicing that. My wife makes me practice.
Yeah, he's amazing like that. So same exact thing. Keep the load close to your body. Don't throw it real far away. Just move it a little bit to the side. You've seen the videos or the people even with the shovel with this one. Anybody ever seen that one? Anybody ever done it? Yeah. Yeah, so you do it like this, and then you turn around. and you got to shovel your way back out of there. That's awesome. Love that when that happens. Okay, so we're talking about snow removal, and I'm excited to see all the different types of tools up front here, but you got to realize that there are now dozens of different kind of snow removal tools. Shovels, picks, plows, teenagers, kids, right? Us. How many different kinds of shovels are available for different workers in the university? And where are they? Alan.
Should have quite a wide variety these days. Check with your supervisor for availability. I know in facilities we try really hard to find a shovel that people are comfortable using. I think that's kind of the main key to using a shovel is find one you're comfortable with.
Alan, if you can hang on that too, Rob made a great point on the yak tracks, the proper footwear. Do you guys still provide some kind of foot accessory for the?
Chris at one time had some pretty simple straps that were available. For a while I thought the yak tracks were the next best thing. Kind of fallen out of favor with me. I don't think they're quite as effective. And I know that we've had people go down walking with them on slick surfaces, linoleum inside, so if you use them, you've got to make sure you take them off. Okay, so Chris just mentioned they are available through construction stores at facilities, and they're called traction strap.
You can just pick them up. Do you have to pay? Is there a?
Well, through facilities management, they know how to get them.
Yeah, just check it with your supervisor, and they're pretty easy to get.
Please use those. So, very effective.
So we're just going to talk for a second about how do you pick the shovel you're going to use for the job, right? So one thing, does the shovel match your size? So an 80-pound gal, does she need to be using a shovel with a 3-foot blade? Maybe, if she's moving a half-inch of snow and doing sort of a push maneuver, something like that, right?
And it depends on the type of snow too, right? Being conscious of that. So your heavier snows, being aware if it's a heavier snow, you don't want to use as big as a shovel, as large a blade. So something like this, if you guys get the heavier snows, the wet snows, definitely want to use something like this to protect your back, your shoulders, hips. So you're going to be lifting, obviously, less a load with a smaller blade with a heavier snow.
Sure. You can see that in the picture, there are some different types of devices up there, and I'm sure some of these different ones will be available in facilities management. For example, if you're managing a wet, heavy, icy snow that you have to chip at, something like this blade on the left here, nice choice. If you have a much lighter, fluffier snow, some of the bigger ones, you can move more snow more quickly. And then lastly, there's ultralight versions out there that are way over on the far side of the right of this picture. So selecting the right tool for the job is critical.
Yeah, and this is probably a great time, too, to talk about applying some of the things we talked about. How do you avoid repetitive overuse injuries? So again, remember the clapping example or the folding your hands. So typically, if you're like me and you're like most folks, you'll try to shovel right arm dominant, right arm grabbing down here. So one technique is try to switch, put the left hand on the other side, and use the left side. So trying to engage a different set of muscles while you're shoveling. And also, so there's new talk nowadays about this concept of a micro break. So you guys get official breaks every, how often? Every 4 hours? So when you're shoveling snow, obviously it can be really hard work, especially if you have a heavier snow. There's this idea of something called a micro break, where instead of taking a 15-minute break, you take a 20 to 30-second break, and actually after 1 minute of taking a break, 1 full minute, your energy stores in your body are back up to about 80 to 90%. That's the energy store that your muscles use after a 1 minute break are back up to about 80, 90%. So changing which arm you use when you're shoveling, it's a great way to avoid repetitive overuse injuries and taking little small micro breaks.
So this is a question just for the supervisors in the room. So if you supervise other workers who are going to be, let's say, removing or moving snow, would you be okay if your work team took a 1 minute break every 10 minutes, if it could prevent a $25,000 liability claim? So would you be okay? Yes, I would be okay. Hands up. Supervisors. Is there anybody in the room who would not be okay with that? Okay, everybody look around. So it's okay to take a little break to protect yourself and your team from injury, okay?
also, Rob hit on another great point. So I know this can be a frustrating topic to talk about. Rob mentioned smoking. Quitting smoking is very hard. I know myself, I smoked for 4 years and had to quit. Wanted to quit, and sometimes I still miss it, right? It's kind of great after a meal to have a smoke. It's relaxing. But Rob's points were really important. So smoking, very interesting. 15 minutes of smoking. So basically you have a cigarette. 15 minutes of smoking decreases the circulation to your discs, your lumbar discs, by 50%. 50%. 15 minutes of smoking, basically one cigarette, which is really powerful. And then Rob also mentioned that smoking decreases your body's ability to heal. The reason is carbon monoxide, which is in smoke, acts like a magnet to hemoglobin, the stuff that delivers nourishment to your cells. It bonds a lot more strongly. So when we're smoking, it's a lot harder for bodies to heal and just function normally.
So I had to set the mic down because I need to use both hands for the next part. We're going to just finish up our tool selection deal. So you've seen some of these now bent handle shovels. There's another one up here that has actually a more distinct bend. And that's actually a plow shovel, but you get the idea. There are advantages and disadvantages to each tool. On the bent handle shovels, the advantage is you don't have to bend over as far to get to the business end, right? So the power side of the shovel is the lift and move, okay? The problem, if you will, with this kind of shovel is it limits where you can put your hands, especially the ones with a distinct bend to it. So there's an upside and a downside to every tool. Let's just remember you got to find the one that fits you, so the right height for you, the right size blade for you, the right size blade for the product you're moving or snow you're trying to move, and then just keep your brain engaged as you're using the various devices. I know that you have a ice removal product. Alan, you have a product, right, for ice removal? What's it called?
Some instances we're using ice slicer. Usually it's a granular salt or
salt product.
Salt product, yeah. Calcium.
So look, if you come across an ice field on the steps or on a sidewalk or something, one choice would be to grab one of our chip tools and start hacking away at it. University standard is to apply an ice removal agent first to soften it up. And if you do need to chip, one of the recommendations that we make, rather than following the tool all the way to the ground with your hand, harpoon it a little bit, right? So let go of it. Right at the end. Are you worried about your foot? I'm not too worried. I hit a guy's foot last time. It was really bad. So if you're going to use a chipper device, try to let go of it as it hits.
And the other thing that if you use the ice abatement product properly, you don't even have to harpoon it. You can just get underneath it and kind of push it along and it'll come up.
Awesome. Thank you.
So before we go any further, you guys have had a lot of information brought your way all morning long. Are there any questions about anything? We still have all the speakers here.
We have prize packs.
We do.
For people who ask questions.
It's true.
Yeah.
So are there any questions about anything that's been presented this morning? Yeah, go right ahead. It dips? Oh, like the snowplow technique. Yeah, and that's a great point. Thank you for asking that. So her question was, what about, yeah, great job. So her question was, what about the technique where you just grab the snow shovel and push it along and the snow falls off the side? Totally great technique. Patrick and I were talking about this beforehand. If you're going to do, it's called the snowplow technique. At least that's what I call it. I just called it that, so now that's what it's called.
Now that's what it's called.
Yeah. So if you're going to do the snowplow technique, a great way to do it is think about putting your wrists right in front of your belly button and pushing, because that's where a lot of your power comes from, as Rob mentioned earlier. So snow shovel's right here. And you're pushing. All right.
See how we worked together on that? That was a teamwork thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was awesome, right? Yeah. So, okay, so someone else had a question on this side. Yes, sir. So proper workwear. What should be wear when you're shoveling snow?
Great question.
Is that the question?
Let's start with shoes.
Go ahead.
And so proper workwear. So a full quarter of slip and fall injuries are due to footwear. So right now, this week is a great time to really check your footwear. So a lot of the research shows that we don't change our footwear often enough. What you're looking for, two things in your footwear. You want to look for your footwear having channels in it, because if you have the channels, what can go through the channels? The ice and the water, right? And you want to make sure the tread is in a circular pattern, so that helps prevent hydroplaning. So that's footwear.
For wear outside, dress in layers. You're shoveling snow, so the first clue, it's going to be cold outside. It's wintertime, right? But you're going to exercise. So as you start working, you're going to be cool, gradually warm up, be able to strip off a layer or two, keep your temperature modulated. Along with clothing, Rob, you mentioned in the summertime staying hydrated, just as critical in the wintertime to stay hydrated, just as critical. And where do we lose most of our moisture when we're working outside in the winter? Does anybody know? Okay, so some guys are pointing to the top of their head. Is that where we lose our moisture, or is that where we lose most of our heat? Or that's right, we lose our heat out of the top of our head, so you should probably have any kind of a hat will actually keep you warmer, even a baseball cap. Not one of the ones with the mesh on top, though.
How about one of the ones with the sippy cups that have the straw that come down? Those kind of.
You got to check with your supervisor on that one. But
Chris?
Yeah, what do you think? No,
he's all right. Stay hydrated.
Depends upon what's in the little sippy cup thing, right? Okay. Actually, you breathe your moisture out. You go outside on a cold day. Who had it right? All right. Who had it right? You got it right? A couple people had it right. Let's get some prizes to the people who had it right. So yeah, you actually expel your moisture right out of your mouth. That's what that smoke is. That's moisture that's coming out of your lungs that you're breathing out in the wintertime. You can dehydrate yourself in an hour of exercise. Question?
Cotton is the best thing for that next to your body, right? Cotton socks, a good cotton t-shirt.
So the question is, what's the best layer to have right next to your body if you're going to be exercising outside in the winter? Is it cotton? And the answer is actually, sadly, no, it is not cotton. Why would cotton be a bad choice?
He should.
It keeps the moisture right up against your skin and keeps you cold. Your base layer should be a technical fabric, like any type of a running shirt or a polyester type t-shirt that you can find, or wool, or some other technical non-absorbent material right next to your skin. Keeps you safer and warmer and drier outside in the winter.
Because if your shirt, that your base layer gets wet, you're going to lose body heat more quickly. There's the reason behind that.
Absolutely.
So did we answer the clothing question? Was that good?
Yep.
You know, one more thing is we're getting low on time. One more really important piece of information that we wanted to try to pass on, and this is really difficult. All of us might not be able to do this today, but as we're thinking about shoveling, it's really important to think about how do we find a neutral spine position.
Perfect.
As physical therapists, one of the things that we talk about is oftentimes, so, I'll be your demonstrator. Great. So our back is full of joints. Well, this is Colorado, but so there's joints in the shoulder, joints here. But I think one of the tough things treating patients is getting people to realize that these are joints in the back. So if you held your finger like this for a solid 2 or 3 years, and then you tried to straighten it out, what would happen? It would feel terrible. It'd feel stiff. It would be painful. Well, there's joints in our back, just like there are in our fingers. And a lot of times what we find, one of the most common syndromes, is we are extended in our spine, which means our spine is curved backwards. A lot of curvature right here, a lot of pain right here, and a lot of injuries happen like that. So to get in the right posture, it's called a neutral spine position. This might be good to try. I'm going to, yeah. Okay, so we're going to find a neutral spine position first. So the way that you do this, I'll just show you first, and then we'll have you stand, is grab around your belt buckle, and the way I describe it is if you remember how Elvis danced, he got his pelvis involved a lot, right? He couldn't go out. On the Ed Sullivan Show, they couldn't film him from the waist down because they thought it was too suggestive. So that's what I tell my patients, think about Elvis, think about moving your pelvis, and it's usually extended. Bring your belt buckle up toward your nose as far as you can. Then let it rest, and then come just to the middle, not all the way up towards your nose, but just to the middle. That is your neutral spine position. You guys want to try that? It's really...
So one more time slower. So
Okay.
you sort of slump, stand all the way up, halfway. It's that easy. You can do it seated. So everybody, slump. Man, the weight of the world is dragging me down. Extend all the way beyond military erect. Back off halfway. Perfect posture right there. So how do we apply that to the shovel, Mr. Science? Do you want to go ahead? No, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
You've got the mic.
So I don't have the microphone. Hi, everybody. Good to see you on this side. I'm off the camera, but I'm with you. And I'm psyched about that. What's up, man? Okay, so neutral spine. Rob, we're going to do it together. Slump, stand tall, find the neutral spine. One step forward, hinge forward at the hips. There you go. Back stays nice and flat. Reach down for the shovel. You're ready to go. If you need to switch hands, it's the same thing. Rather than this and this. See that difference? If we move from flexion into extension, we're going to extend every little joint in the back and risk an injury. It's not what we want to do. Okay? Neutral spine.
It's great. It's great.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Okay, anything else? We're kind of getting close on time here. Are we done with time officially? Ish? We're done. I mean, we're done. Thank you so much. You guys have been great. Really appreciate it. Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you, guys. Chris, we've got a little bit more, right? Or we pretty close? Okay. I want to just emphasize 3 points that occurred to me as we were going through today. First, I want to remind everybody to stay hydrated when you're working outside. Water is your friend. Coffee drinks, caffeine actually takes water out of your system. Yeah, I've got one more speaker. Scott will be up in just a second. I want to remind people also, take your breaks as needed. You know, the short breaks during the course of a snow removal shift are very important. And it was mentioned, but I want to emphasize it. When I shovel, I do try to switch my side at least 30% of the time. Use a different set of muscles instead of keep repetitively hitting the same ones. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Scott. He's got just a little bit here real quick for us, and then we'll be wrapped up.
All right, guys, I know you're anxious to get out of here, so we'll make it quick. First off, everybody, big thank you to our presenters today. We appreciate you coming. Couple quick thoughts. You know, late in the season is when we tend to forget these things. So, you know, when we get into February, pull these flyers back out. You've all got them. Take a second, look at them. Take the time to find the right shovel. Those of you guys, you all know who you were. I saw you today that think you're, you know, too cool for school. Don't want to do your stretches in front of your friends. That's fine. Step around the corner. Take a second in private, whatever. We don't want to see you hurt, but you guys don't want to see you hurt. You know, you can't go to your concerts. You can't go to your parties, your weekend events, skiing, whatever. Don't get hurt for your sake and for ours, obviously. Take the time to put this stuff into play.
Thanks, everybody. And again, your efforts shoveling snow are much appreciated on campus. Have a great day.